everyone. I was going to do an intro and it doesn't work. So, anyway, welcome everybody to the Late Break Show pub, not pub, car quiz. I had something lined up that I was just going to play for a little joke, and of course it worked fine when we were testing it, and now it doesn't work, but it's okay because I've got questions and I've got wine. I won't be using all of that wine unless it all goes terrifically wrong. I've got a webcam that should be better than it was last time. I haven't got a creepy painting of an old lady in the background. Welcome everybody to a strange Sunday evening. It's snowing outside. It's odd. Already lots of people have started chiming in, so thank you ever so much for joining me. This is going to be a car quiz or car whiz. The way it's going to work is something like this. We're going to have a stopwatch, an 80s stopwatch.
The audio's very low.
Oh, hang on. Is it?
Yeah. Super low. Audio's super low.
Audio's super low. How about if I do that? Is that better? My audio should be a little bit better. Oh, turn the volume up. Yes. How's that? Is that better?
Let's see what people say.
Yeah, let's hope that's better. But thanks for letting me know. I wonder why it's so quiet. Okay, well, I can try that, which is the backup volume. I thought I'd use my podcast mic. The one I use.
Tiny bit. Too loud. What?
Well, okay, I'm either too loud or too quiet. I don't know what.
Yes,
so
better. Can't hear a thing. Wee bit better. Fine.
Okay, all right. Well, I've got my volume up set to maximum now. All right, so that should be better. All right, good. Anyway, yeah, glad we got the volume sorted out. So I got an 80 stopwatch, and the sort of the plan for the evening is we're going to do 4 rounds, could be 5. Who's counting?
Well, people are now saying echo.
Each one will be.
Do you want to turn it down a bit, Tony? Maybe.
Echo.
Yeah, turn it down a bit.
Blimey, this all worked fine when we were doing the test. Okay, I've knocked it down a bit. Okay, I'm going to maybe go a little bit further back from the microphone. Yeah, my Mrs. CarPervert's just behind the screen there. You won't see her. She's like a phantom, a logistics phantom. So yes.
Hello, Benzina Paul.
So I'm going to be doing 5 or 4 rounds, each one of 4 questions, and at the end of each round there'll be a bonus question from my friend and colleague on the Smith Sniff podcast, Mr. Richard Porter, who's a fine man and also a fine creator of questions and trivia. So that's the way we're going to do it. There's no prizes. No. There's just banter and kudos. But in between each of the rounds, there'll be a Q&A session of around 5 minutes. Hence, 80s PE teacher stopwatch, because I've got no concept of time when I'm filming or recording. So there we go. Thank you ever so much to everyone already throwing questions in. I'll try and keep tabs on that. Chops, my wife, is going to help me with that so I don't disrupt the quizness. But we'll do a couple actually now before we get cracking. Blimmin' heck, there's a lot. There is.
I'm tripping over a cat.
Oh yeah, if you hear a cat, it's an old cat, and she is a bit annoying. I'm not going to lie.
Really?
She is a bit of a bugger. So yeah. Right.
Okay, so do you want the Patreon questions first?
Patreon questions first, yes. I'm going to do a couple of Patreon questions. Anyway, big shout out to all my Patreons who support the Late Break Show. Thank you. Means a lot. Hugely important. And I will try my best to always make sure that you're getting a bit of an inside line on what I'm doing next and some extra bits. In fact, I'm planning to do a Patreon only Q&A session. So we'll see if we can work the logistics of that out at some point. Right, Q&A.
Okay, so Patreon first. Andy Ralston asks, if you could preserve 2 cars in the entire world, what would they be?
Well, if only 2 cars were left in the world?
Yeah. Make and model.
My
Trim
gosh.
level optional, apparently.
If I could only
Okay,
preserve, so I'm cracking on. I reckon one of them's got to be a Volkswagen Beetle, a people's car. Sorry, but I just love them. I think another one would be a Lada Niva, because I could mend it and it could go off-road. And it's great. It's a great piece of design.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sean Kelly.
Sean Kelly. Hi, Sean.
Should I buy a nice 944 or an average 966?
Or 996, I guess, unless he's invented a new 911. I reckon
Could be a typo.
an average 996 or a really nice 944.
Yeah.
I would say right now a good 944, because a average 996 will be awful and expensive, and you'll probably start to hate it, even though they're good when they're kept in good fettle. I think a really good 944. It's one of those cars that I drove and I wasn't expecting much, and it was amazing. And I drove it on a track, which normally shows up its faults.
Okay, Peter Grogan.
Hi, Peter.
My question is, should I convert my 50-year-old Land Rover lightweight that has a rubbish retrofitted early turbo diesel back to its original 2250 petrol, or should he convert it to EV?
So 50-year-old Land Rover with a rubbish diesel conversion.
Yeah.
Should he convert it to
Its
original 2.25 petrol, which is a pretty average engine? It depends what you're going to do with it, really. An EVing isn't cheap, so you've got to want to do it and remove yourself from the possibility of the fact that it might hold its value. It's really about your choice and whether you want to be kind of progressive and where you live, that sort of thing. I probably would EV it. I think an EV old Land Rover would be quite good, because they're quite bad to drive in standard form, if I'm totally honest. So I like the fact that Bolts.com, the sound is approximately 67% better now. Betterer. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. And there's nearly 900 of you viewing, so thanks to everybody who's tuned in here. You haven't missed any questions yet. I'm Russell. I got papers to rustle. I got papers.
People can't hear the questions from me, so I'm going to shout.
Yeah, I'll have to repeat them.
Okay. Radon Racing.
Yeah.
Do you feel the whole model of car ownership itself needs to change, not only for the environment, but for social equity? And then when will this happen? Blah blah blah.
The whole model of car ownership should it
change for the environment?
You know, I'm torn, because I understand that making less cars will be better for the environment, because there's less manufacture of raw materials and, you know, the whole life cycle of a car. However, I'm a car enthusiast, so I'm sort of torn between. I mean, do you know what? I bet David Attenborough isn't vegetarian. I bet he isn't. I bet he still eats pork and, you know, lamb or whatever. So I don't want the car industry to stop, but what I do want is I want certain second-hand cars, not just classics, but, you know, pre-owned cars, to either live on in some way or be repurposed. Like, take a big luxury car that's 10 years old. It's taxed out of practicality, so could we repurpose those sorts of cars somewhere? Because there's a lot of that car that's built to live on.
Okay, final one for now. John Taylor.
What, from Duran Duran? John Taylor?
Possibly. Do you ever think there will be a time when EVs will depreciate low enough and will be easy enough to work on? Yeah.
Say that again. Do
you ever think there will be a time when EVs will depreciate low enough and be easy enough to work on? To get to
Bangonomics levels?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I've still got a few people saying I'm quiet on the sound, so just before, can we just pause a sec? I'm just going to check my sound levels to make sure that it's working. Okay, let's try that. I'm wondering if that will work. Okay. I am enjoying a nice glass of red, Mike English. I absolutely am. Quentin Wilson, put a private plate on and the neighbours will never know. Totally true. It's one of the best lines that Quentin's ever uttered. Sorry, I'm just getting warmed up. Okay, so sound should be okay now. I want to make sure sound is absolutely bob on, ready for the quiz. Are we ready to start the quiz?
Yes.
All right. Okay, quiz. We will do, like I say, if you've just joined us, we'll do a Q&A for about 5 minutes, hence PE teacher style stopwatch round neck, in between each round. And don't forget, this is not massively competitive. And I was really, it was quite difficult to put together questions that were not too nerdy or not too easy. It's very difficult to know the audience. So I am just going to get me notes. This is round number 1, and round number 1 I've called Old Car Trivia. Okay, it's 4 questions plus the bonus question, which can be completely random, that my colleague Rich Porter has uttered. Before I start, if you're watching this and it's okay quality, I need to thank a chap called EV Nick, who has a website and also a YouTube channel called EV Nick that you can go and visit. He's been so helpful to me this afternoon and this morning, sorting out technical issues which I nearly gave up on yesterday. So thank you, EV Nick. All right, let's start this effing quiz. Come on. Lots of people are saying, oh, that's an interesting question. Why does clown poo smell funny? Well, clowns just aren't funny. That's the way I see it.
But
And
their poo is.
well, it could be funnier than them.
Okay.
Okay, round number 1, Old Car Trivia. Question 1. Celebrating its 50th anniversary this year, what is the name of the British car whose code name was ADO 28? So I'll say that again. Its 50th anniversary this year. What is the name of this British car whose code name was ADO 28? So you've got to think about what's 50 this year. It's not me. That's question number 1. Oh, we've got cracking. We've broken the ice of the quiz. Time to drink. Okay, question 2. What was the Austin Allegro called when it was sold to the Italian market? What was the Austin Allegro called when it was sold to the Italians, the Italian market? A few people are asking why I'm not sat in a brown leather chair. Well, the truth is one of them's out in the conservatory, which is almost getting blown down at the moment, and the other one is in a lockup because they're just cumbersome. They're really big and cumbersome, and my wife, Chops, doesn't like them.
No.
And we've had them in our house for 15 years, and it was time to get rid. So anyway, sorry about that. Question number 3. Remember the Fiat Stilo Schumacher edition? Do you? I do. It was a limited edition car. I think they only built 200 of them, which is probably 200 too many. And it was built to celebrate a certain number of consecutive Formula One driver championships for Michael Schumacher. But how many championships was it built to signify, to celebrate? So remember the Fiat Stilo Schumacher edition. The limited edition car was built to celebrate a certain number of consecutive Formula One driver championships for Michael Schumacher. But how many was that? All right, remember when the Stilo may or may not have come out? Yeah, Stilo Schumacher edition. I went back through some old road tests of it and it was disappointing. I don't know if it's ever going to be collectible. And question number 4. I never know how fast or slow to do pub quizzes because I quite like a slow pub quiz. But that's usually because I'm not competitive and I want to drink in a leisurely manner in between. Question number 4. So this is the final question for Old Car Trivia. Which Lamborghini used Morris Marina door handles in production? Which Lamborghini used Morris Marina door handles? As we all know, Morris Marina's door handles were the coolest thing about it, and they lived on for years in loads of other cars. First discovery from Land Rover. Jensen Interceptor might have been. Loads and loads and loads and loads of cars. Lotuses, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that was that. Which Lamborghini uses Morris Marina door handles? I'm now going to play you question number 1 from...
Question 5? Question 5.
Oh yeah, it's question 5, but it's it's the bonus question from my friend Rich Porter. Hopefully you'll be able to hear this.
Hello Johnny, hello everyone. Richard Porter here with your first bonus question, and it's this. Which model of Mazda is the only Mazda to have been made in the UK?
I'm going to play that one more time.
Hello Johnny, hello everyone. Richard Porter here with your first bonus question, and it's this. Which model of Mazda is the only Mazda to have been made in the UK?
There you go. I actually didn't know the answer to that. He's good at those sorts of questions. I'd like to point out also that Rich, obviously besides doing the podcast with me that comes out every Monday, in fact tomorrow if you're watching this live, called Smith and Sniff, available on Acast and Amazon Music and iTunes and all that jazz. He also is an author and a script writer, and he's got 2 books out, Boring Car Trivia Volume 1 and Boring Car Trivia Volume 2. They're good, especially if you like these sorts of pub questions. And I didn't nick any of these questions out of his book because I made a point of not plagiarising him, because that's just cruel. Q&A time, because that's what we're going to do. That's round 1 done. We're going into the Q&A. Welcome to all of you who are watching. There's over 1,000 of you, which is alarming, and you're all admiring these frigging curtains. I know you are. They're great, aren't they? The sort of thing you see at a lonely village hall.
We bought a proper backdrop.
My wife bought a proper backdrop for this. She said, do it professionally, Johnny, don't muck around. I've got a half decent webcam. I've got a ring light, which all the influencers use. And she got a backdrop, and I just got to about 2 hours ago, and I was like, do you know what? I'll just draw the curtains and just do it that way. So, bollocks to it. Let's just do that. Quality jumper, someone's just said. Yeah, thanks for that. You can only see the little bit of it because of the microphone just here. But yeah, I'm a big fan of it. They don't pay me or sponsor me, but I've always loved the Santa Cruz screaming hand. Okay, so I'm going to start the stopwatch for around about 5 minutes of Q&A because I'm going to try and be organised. It's my New Year's resolution. Let's go. Q&As.
Okay. So, George Kinghorn.
Yeah, George Kinghorn.
Do you have any update on your electric drag racing plans?
No, the honest answer is I still keep in touch with the guy who owns the car, who bought it from me. It's still in a museum being used as an exhibition vehicle, sadly. And I'd love to drive it again. He never drives it, and it might reappear one day soon. It all comes down to sponsorship. I had an idea for what EV dragster I'd like to build next to go faster, with technology being better and stuff. But the fact of the matter remains is I put so much time and effort and money into building that dragster to try and do what we did. It would need sponsorship or backing of an OEM, really. That's what I'd like to do. I know the car I would do it in, and it would be suitably short.
Can I just quickly do one here? There's a chap called David who has messaged. I don't think he's a Patreon. His pregnant wife is inside hospital being monitored, and he is sitting outside in the car.
Oh my gosh.
Just say hello to him.
David, your wife's pregnant. She's giving birth as we speak, or nearly. She's being monitored. And he's outside the hospital in the car watching this. So, David, I hope all goes well. Congratulations for the pending birth. Lockdown kids, keeping it real. And thank you very much.
Right. Okay,
yeah.
Next question.
Noel. What, the Noel?
It's the Noel Huggett.
Oh, Noel Huggett. Hi, Noel.
Apart from the Chimney and the Fig, is there any car that you have owned that you both really enjoyed driving and regretted parting with? So I guess it's a family car that we've owned. That
we both enjoyed driving.
And we regretted parting with. Well, yeah, the Cube.
The Cube. We had a Nissan. In fact, talking of kids, the babies in the hospital. When we first found out we were going to become parents, we bought a Nissan Cubic. So Japanese import, 7-seater, in that lovely powder blue pearlescent metallic. Great colour. It was the launch colour. I met the designer as well, actually, in Japan once. And he asked me, he said, did you buy it in blue? I said, yeah, I did. Yeah, it's the best colour. The great thing about the Cube is quite cheap, quite economical, is slow, but the space inside is stunning. And it's got that bench seat at the front. It's a great piece of packaging. Had the extra seats in the back, bench front. Sorry, that was a burp. I do apologise. I'm talking really fast like a DJ. I'm not used to it.
Somebody asked what you had for dinner, which was a roast.
I did have a roast.
And he ate it in about 5 minutes. So
Listen, the reality of the lockdown scenario is such that we ate dinner earlier, and I had to eat it twice the pace I normally would. Eating a roast at twice the pace is not good. It's sitting a little high.
roast potato burp.
I had some, I've got a few roasty burps, so I do apologise.
So the answer to Noel is, and it was technically a cubic, not a cube.
It was a Cubic. It was a Nissan Cubic.
So that's the car we would regret selling. Okay, another question from Jason Rogers.
Hello, Jason Rogers.
Import JDM K. I can never open the KE.
K car.
K car. Minivan and convert to electric? Question mark. I think that means should he do it?
Well,
should he import one and convert it to electric?
There's some great little K vehicles like Suzuki Hustlers or whatever. There's some really funny little things. I would say it comes down to you've got to bear in mind the price, because the cheapest way to EV convert a car really is to use a salvage damaged existing car, let's say a Leaf or a Zoe, and use it as an organ donor, hook, line and sinker. So if you can package all that stuff, great. Otherwise, it's going to be quite an expensive way to build a short range EV, because you won't be able to fit loads of batteries in it because it's a K car, because it's small. So that's probably the best answer I can give you there. But there's some amazing K cars. I'd love to collect K cars. Imagine being like the Jay Leno of K cars. They're all narrow. They always look awkwardly narrow.
Okay.
Next question.
Oh, right. Wayne Mason.
Hi, Wayne Mason. You're a Patreon. I recognise your name.
Yeah, and he actually refers to you as Mr. Chops. So
Right.
he obviously gets my vote. And for that, he's asked 3 questions, and because he's done that, he can actually have 3 questions. Idle chat. Who's the holy grail of idle chat?
Gosh, the holy grail of idle chat. Brown chairs conversation. In fact,
We had this chat not long ago.
Yeah, who would be like the best of the
Like,
best to
It's
put
like
on there?
carpool characters, like Beyonce or someone, isn't it?
No,
Like it is for me.
no. Of car terms,
We could have Beyonce and Jay-Z.
I would love to have all 3 of the Top Gear Grand Tour guys on there. Jeremy and Jason, James and
Jason.
not Jason. He's not. I'm thinking of Plato because he was the last idle chat we did with Matt Neal. So I'd love to have those guys on board. I'd also love to meet Jay Leno because I nearly met him. Do you remember we nearly met him that night? You were heavily pregnant. The Jaguar XJ was unveiled.
Was it the Hoff night?
Yeah, which was 2012. And Jay Leno was there and David Hasselhoff was there. And we ended up going backstage and meeting David,
I know,
but
we told
Jay
the
had
story
just
last
gone.
time. Yeah, we told the story last time.
It doesn't matter anyway. There's still a valid
What was
story.
the answer to that then? Who was the
Well, I mean, Jay Leno would be a great
Top
one.
Gear guys?
I'd like the old Top Gear, as in Jeremy and
What
James and
Keanu.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Well, he's into bikes actually.
Yeah.
He might be into cars. I mean, John Wick, he smashes up a. In fact, he drives a Mustang in Point Break, I think.
Yeah.
He drives a Mustang in that, and he drives a Mustang in John Wick. Oh, anyway, you just want Keanu because you're just shallow. Yeah.
Are you going to be doing a section on the house? We do the house. Are you going to make any videos on the house?
So, for those of you who might not know, we've basically spent the last 8 years living in this bungalow, which is falling to pieces because we're going to knock it down and build our own house. So we've been working up to this for years, and we got the confirmation last week that we could get the new build mortgage to start. So probably in about 3 months' time we'll be living in a caravan, and we'll spend the next year building the house. No, we're not going to have more kids accidentally, aka grand design spec. We're not doing that. And we are probably going to document it, and it's not going to appeal to everyone, but there's large chunks of the house, i.e. the garage, which is actually more floor space, I think square meters floor space than the house. So I'm going to document building my dream garage if I can afford it, and also we're going to make it as economical, efficient a house as possible using some tech. And of course we want to create some of our own energy to heat the house and to charge EVs. So yeah, there'll be some relevant car bits in there. So the short answer is yes.
That wasn't a short
It
answer.
wasn't. I mean, I'm just looking at my 80 stopwatch. 7 minutes
Awful.
30.
Right, last question.
Goodness.
And it isn't a question for Wayne Mason. Can you please give his granny a shout out because it is her 96th birthday today? Dorothy Bryan.
So a shout out to Dorothy Bryan. It's your 96th birthday today.
Yeah.
well, happy
From
birthday.
Your grandson, Wayne Mason.
From your grandson, Wayne Mason.
And you.
Thank you so much, Wayne, for being a patron. Your granny gets a massive shout out. There's a few people who have just written sports. Do you know, I haven't actually done a sports round for this quiz. I feel like I've.
I think that should be so.
I feel like I've.
Smith and Sniff
Yeah, that should be a Smith and Sniff sports round. Besides,
hurry up and do the question.
right, stopping this. We're going to stop the Q&A. We're going to do round number 2 of the quiz. I nearly said pub quiz. There's nothing pub about this. It's just it's the back of our kitchen. So who's ready for round 2? Rhetorical question. Yes, you are. This is new car trivia. Okay. First round was old car trivia. This one's new car trivia. Question number 1. Which large car maker controversially rebranded their slogan and logo in January, so last month? The logo, to me, is incredibly confusing. So, which large car manufacturer controversially rebranded their slogan and their logo in January this year? With really quite a confusing logo. And actually, do you know what? The slogan's a bit shit as well. The old slogan was okay. We all got used to it. This one's gash. So who is that? Write your answer down. Or don't. Just think about it. Some people work better on paper. I do. Give you a bit of a pause there. This question, I think I got the right answer in my research, but we'll soon see, won't we? We'll see. Question number 2. And by the way, thanks to everyone who's watching. There's a lot more of you than I expected. Even people from Portland in Oregon. Hi, Stephen. And there's people from Australia and America and Norfolk, all sorts. Nigel Rudd, thank you very much for the tip here for the aggro. There's an update on the Austin Allegro project car coming. I'm trying to forge ahead and get quite a lot of progress done. It's been a bit of a challenge. Anyway, I've had some great stuff 3D laser scanned for some prototyping. Question number 2 on this round 2. Which car is longer? The current Ford Fiesta, the current Voxel Corsa, or the current Volkswagen Polo? Which one is longer?
Can you just tap your mic up a tiny bit?
Up?
One more, yeah. A couple of people are still saying it's really quiet.
I've got it on max.
Oh, okay.
I'll just go closer.
Yeah.
But what I don't want distortion, because you just sound like a clueless radio DJ, and I'm not that. Gotta say, this wine's actually really quite hardcore. What is it?
I don't know.
Malbec, organic Malbec, 30 minutes. It tastes like a 14. Anyway. Oh, Toothless. Can I have a shout out? My dad would love it. Toothless, if I'm sure that's not your Christian name. Here's a shout out for you and your dad. Quite simply. Question number 3. How many Jaguar XJs sold globally in 2020? How many XJ Jaguars sold globally in 2020? This is a multiple choice. I'm going to help you. Is it 1,500 cars, 7,500 cars, or 15,500 cars? So how many XJs did Jaguar sell globally in 2020? 1,500, 7,500, or 15,500? Yeah. See, again, I don't know how much waiting time to give you guys, but this is not a competitive quiz, is it? I mean, you're just here because you're all leading very busy lives, locked in your own houses. Okay, question number 4. This one's a hard one, I think, but who can say? Name more than one SsangYong on sale in the UK today. Name more than one SsangYong model on sale in the UK. More than one. Yeah, coming at you. That's a difficult question. And that concludes round number 2 of new car trivia. Okay.
What else you got?
Oh, no, it doesn't conclude it because I've got the bonus. I've got the fifth bonus question. Sorry. I got my question from Rich Porter and I'm going to play it right now. Oh, hang on.
Hello.
What happened there?
Hello, it's Richard again. Hello, it's Richard again with another bonus question, and it's this. The late Sergio Marchionne, the boss of FCA, once described one of his own cars as being unfit for human consumption. But which car was he talking about?
I'll do that question again.
Hello, it's Richard again with another bonus question, and it's this. The late Sergio Marchionne, the boss of FCA, once described one of his own cars as being unfit for human consumption. But which car was he talking about?
So that was the fifth question for the round. As I say, I do 4 questions. The boy Porter does 1 more. So that concludes round number 2. We're going to have some Q&A sesh now, aren't we?
We are.
Nice little cheeky Q&A. Hang on, let me reset my PE teacher stopwatch. Sorted and go.
Okay, first of all, Derek.
Hi, Derek.
wants to do a shout out from your mum's house, which is incredibly disturbing.
Derek, you're at my mum's house. Does my dad know about this? Because my dad's an accomplished fighter.
Mike English has asked a couple of times what happened to Tim's Allegro.
Okay, funny enough, I was talking to Tim today. If you don't know what we're talking about, I did a barn find style episode back in February. It was about a year ago, March maybe, and dragging a one owner Allegro SS out, which is probably the rarest Allegro model. Rare, but nobody cares. And we keep meaning to do a follow up, but complications with lockdown, Tim doing homeschooling, me doing some homeschooling, Tim having to sort out customers' cars for his job. We haven't managed to. But in fact, I spoke to him today and said, can we do it, please? So I'm hoping that we can do a follow-up episode soon. We might be able to get it running. We definitely will be able to clean it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trail Falls. Have you thought about finding Project Cat Daddy?
Trailfuls. That's the
Yeah.
person's name.
Well, it's that.
Okay, have you thought about finding Project Cat Daddy? Project Cat Daddy was from 2004 when I was working on a magazine called Revs and then Max Power, and I built out of a Jag XJ40 that I bought for £100 from a guy who ran an internet cafe in Cambridge. Remember internet cafes? And it was running on 5 cylinders, and I drove it home and we turned it into quite a good project car, I thought. 20-inch wheels, re-drilled, custom made for the car, hydraulic suspension, sort of faded graduated metal flake paint, questionable snakeskin interior but executed to a high standard, Xbox in the passenger side floor under plexiglass. I mean, it was a custom vehicle. I love that car. I do know the guy that I obviously swapped it with. I did a straight swap with it in the end. I didn't sell it. I swapped it for a split screen VW van. And the guy, unfortunately, passed away. Bless him, Chewy. He passed away suddenly, and it got sold to somebody else in Cornwall, and somebody threw paint stripper over the back of it, and it had to have the back end repainted, which was an impossible task to match if you saw the paint. Real shame. Absolute bastard who did that. So, yeah, I would like to. I kind of would. It's one of those things, isn't it? You build a car that's so personal and you get rid of it when it's really in good condition.
You were single at the time.
I was very single at the time. I have to say, though, when I sold that car or swapped it, I threw in an extra car. I threw in a spare Jag, which was MOT'd because it had a better engine. And what the guy did, Chewy, the late Chewy, who's very good at building custom cars, he took the engine out of the worst car, the donor car, and detailed it all in white. So it was a white 4-litre straight 6. It was a crazy idea, but it looked great. White heads, white rocker cover, white exhaust manifolds. Looked great. Next question.
Ned Bose asked what your favourite motorsport is.
It's a good question. My favourite sports. My favourite motorsports. I really like World Rallycross. I have a lot of time for it, and I think it appeals to the younger generation who might not have the attention span of watching a big stage rally like an World Rally. The driving's frantic. It's short, sharp, really aggressive. I love the Joker lap. I think that's brilliant. People who know me, I'm not massively bothered about Formula One. I think it's either that or... I mean, I do like watching drifting. Like proper competitive drifting. What other motorsports am I interested in? I can't really remember.
Oh, you watch Monster Jam.
My son who's 9 since he's about 3 years old, he's been massively into monster truck racing. So we often have a little ritual sometimes where we used to wake up Saturday morning and we'd find it on Sky or something. We don't have Sky anymore, and we'd watch a bit of monster truck racing. It's good. It's actually quite funny.
Final question.
Yes. Oh, drag racing is my favourite motorsport. What am I talking about?
Oh, no, obviously isn't.
Controversially.
Wally Cars asks.
Yeah.
What, if any, current EVs will be future classics?
BMW i3. Job done. 110%. Tesla Roadster, the first one. It kind of already is a modern classic. And the BMW i3, because it's full carbon and it's ridiculously high engineering and style and materials, unlike any other. I can't believe BMW make any money on them, and secondhand now they're down to about 11 grand, which is ridiculous because they're amazing. So I'm a big fan of them. By the way, people are saying in the comments, I've just noticed, they want to see you to make sure that you're real. No, she's not having any of it.
Real.
Show your ear, just like, I don't know, the back of your head.
I'm not real.
Okay, we've had lots of people. Don't worry about the sound. Get the brew on. I will do, Tom. Thank you for that. The pace of the chat is insane. Well, I'm just trying to keep it going because, hang on. Oh yeah, we're over time, but not by much for the Q&A. There's so much. There's so many people. Slow mode. Hopefully this is streaming successfully. I've downloaded new software and everything. And again, thanks to EV Nick, who has his own YouTube site, for helping with the technical side of this. I was on the phone to him this morning trying to sort it out. Yeah, okay. Got any more questions, or shall I dive in?
3.
Okay, I'm going to dive in to the next round. I was just having a quick... Oh, hang on. Kev Swindley, do you think it's a good time to buy a Mark 1 Focus to put away? Yes, I do. 3-door, not the estate, and I would do any engines, 1.6 or 1.8. I'd do a 1.8 Z-Tech. That was probably my favourite. They are so cheap, Mark 1 Focuses, and I drove one not that long ago, and it reminded me of the fact it's still a really good car, and you can buy a really clean one for like 700 quid. It's ridiculous. It's a great car. Hello from Vancouver, Canada. Hi, Simon. I've never been to Canada, and I bloody would love to go. Someone's put, Johnny, will you come and chat on the BBC with me? Maybe. It depends if it's... depends what it's about. If it's about football. No, because I don't know shit all about football.
Quiz.
Yeah, okay. Robin White, watching the night whilst fixing my bike in a freezing garage. Hello to Mrs. CarPervert. Robin, way to go, mate. It's cold in the garage tonight. It's cold everywhere tonight. Unless you're in Thailand. Right. Round number 3. This one, and I'm going to need some technology for this one, so hopefully I can make this work. We'll see. I've teed it up. Round number 3. Badges. Car badges. But I'm not going to do that many visuals because it's technical. Question number 1. Audi's 4-ringed logo represented 4 German brands joining forces in 1932 to create the Auto Union. But... can you name all 4? Clue, one of them is Audi. So in other words, you need to guess the other 3. Yeah? I'll do that question again. Audi's 4-ringed logo represented 4 German brands joining forces in 1932 to create the Auto Union. Can you, though, name all of those 4 brands that joined together? One of them is Audi. You guess the rest of them. Or don't guess, just like... Oh, by the way, if you're doing this pub quiz and you're Googling the questions, look at yourself in the mirror. Where does that get you in life? Do you know something? I cheated in a history exam once. It's the only time I've ever cheated in an exam. And do you know what? I wrote down the wrong questions for the wrong things.
How did you cheat?
I wrote it on my hands.
What, they didn't check?
There's the inside of my hands.
Oh.
And to this day, I got a terrible mark. I'd written down the wrong answers and I was a tosser. And it taught me to never do something like that again. I was ashamed. Still am.
I'm ashamed of you.
She's ashamed of me because she didn't know that.
I'm never going to have sex with you again.
Stop that. Anyway, Mini Moto Madness. Johnny, do you watch Rusty Love? I don't. Although I feel like I want to. Although it sounds slightly strange at the same time. Get the missus nearer to the mic. Don't forget, we'll do another 5 minutes of this of the Q&A. Hang on, let me stop my 80s PE teacher. What? So that was question number 1 of round 3. Question number 2 of round 3 is this. German luxury BMW Vettelers Alpina have got a blue and red shield logo. But what 2 car parts feature on said shield? There's 2 car parts on the shield. And what are they? So German luxury BMW Vettelers Alpina have a blue and a red shield logo. It's a really nice logo, actually. I got a bag from the Geneva Motor Show once from the Alpinist, and I've still got it. But what 2 car parts feature on this shield that I'm talking about? There's 2 car parts, and they're really quite sexy, if you like car parts. That's question 2. Have a quick sip of my wine. My mouth's a bit dry. Freddie Skeets. What on earth are these doctorate level essay questions? The thing about writing questions for like informed guests, like I know all of you that are watching are into cars and bikes or other vehicles. So I've got to try and think of a level. Like I don't want to like teach Granny to suck eggs, but at the same time I don't want to like make it ridiculously silly because there's no prizes, just kudos.
People can come back again later as well.
Oh yeah, and also if you're watching this on replay, then hopefully you can play amongst yourselves. You know, it's not, there's no prize to be won. Although there are discount codes if you want discounts on some products. I'll put those in the description actually.
Technically do it later.
You can do this. All right, yeah, you can do this quiz later. You can just sit and drink for now and just watch time go by and watch me make technical errors. All right, it's entirely up to you. Okay. So, this is question number 3, and I am going to need to bring up a picture. Let's see if it works. It does work. It's there. Okay. Question number 3. Which old British car company had this logo? It's a turtle in a wreath. Of course it is, because that's a really logical badge for a car company. Which old British car company used this logo? A turtle in a wreath. I'm going to now take away the turtle in the wreath. It's like The Candle in the Wind by Elton John. But a B-side. Okay, that was question number 3. This is the 4th question of badge round, the badges round. So, question 4. Who owns the Triumph Motor Car Company brand name? Who owns that now? Who owns the Triumph Motor Cars brand name? It is a current car company, just so you know. Triumph. I've never owned a Triumph. I have never ever owned a Triumph in my life. I remember when we went on holiday to the Isle of Wight, when Kitty May was one or 2 years old. Mm-hmm. Do you remember I found a Triumph Dolomite Sprint on someone's drive, and it was so rotten. It was just disappearing into the drive, and it was that yellow with the black vinyl roof. And I thought, how sad. That has probably been there for 25 years. Getting like rained on and getting salty air on it. Ugh, poor thing.
You really remember that?
I do really remember that, yeah.
Whereas I don't remember
No,
it
you don't
at
remember
all.
it at all. It's not an important part of the holiday.
It didn't even happen.
Hang on, Dave Jones. The Patreon link in the description doesn't work. Oh yeah, it's because I've put the wrong one in. I put the old one in. I'm so sorry. I need to edit the URL. Dave, thank you very much for pledging. That's really kind of you. Job's a good one, as you say. I hope you're having a pint or even a coffee. I don't know where you're from. It might be the morning, in which case you might not be having a pint.
Somebody was watching in Tipperary.
Well, that's my New Year's resolution that's carried over from last year. I need to go to bloody Ireland. Last year robbed me of the opportunity of going to Ireland because I've never been, and it's embarrassing, and I really want to go. Right. Should we do some more questions?
Yes.
Start me stopwatch. That's it.
Richard.
Oh God. Okay. Question number 5. Okay. So question number 5. This is the one from Rich Porter. Let me play it. Okay. Here we go.
Hello, it's Richard again.
Hang on. What's he? Oh, bloody phone. Technology.
Hello, it's Richard again with another bonus question. Which car company's only showroom was at 368 to 370 Kensington High Street, London?
I'll play that again.
Hello, it's Richard again with another bonus question. Which car company's only showroom was at 368 to 370 Kensington High Street, London?
That's a cool one. I like that. I must do a shout out to a chap called, where is it? Hang on. Nick Smith. It says, please do a shootout for Dexter and Nick, aged 11 and 52. I think you mean shout out. I'm not going to start. I'm going to do a shout out to Dexter and Nick, aged 11 and 52. Well, thank you much for watching / listening. Question. BMW M3, 3 laps of Anglesey circuit. Who wins? Tiffany Dell, Johnny, Potato, or VBH? Oh.
Well, someone asked this last time.
That's difficult.
So if someone had to save your life, that got asked last time, and you went Jason. You thought Jason would get around quicker to save your life.
Well, because Tiff knows no danger, so Plato's got a better. He wouldn't care about his own life.
No, it's your life.
Yeah, but like, so I think that's another question. That's not this question.
Okay.
The question is, who's faster around Anglesey? 3 laps, BMW M3. I'm going to say it's Tiff over Jason and VBH, and the reason why is because Tiff lives and breathes BMWs. He does corporate BMW, like drift days for people. He knows a BMW chassis better than anyone. And I think Tiff was 70 last year, I think. If he wasn't, I'm really sorry, Tiff. I'm pretty sure he was 70. And it's unbelievable. He doesn't look more than 60.
Another question?
Yeah, let's do another question. Yeah, hey, look, I've still got time. Yeah.
Okay. Peter Nourish, has the Chimney depreciated in value?
No, the Chimney's gone up in value. I've been offered about 3,000 or 4,000 above the price we paid, and it's over 2 years. As of Christmas just gone, it turned 2 years old. It's just had its second service. So, no, it's one of the very few brand new cars that isn't a limited edition or a sports car, like an exotic, that's gone up in value. It's brilliant. Love it.
Okay.
But we're not selling it, are we? We're not selling the Chimney.
No.
No, we're not. No.
The Dodge will go first.
The Dodge is not going. We've had this conversation already about building the house and selling cars. The Dodge is not going.
Well, speaking of which, Sausage Lord.
Sausage Lord?
It was something like Sausage Lord 6853.
Oh, he's ruined it with the numbers.
I know. That's probably because there was already many Sausage Lords. Has the Honda S600 gone to a good home?
Lord of Sausage. Has my Honda S600 gone to a good home? I can tell you, it's gone to a very cool guy who's a car collector in Hong Kong. So it's going to be put on a ship in the next 2 or 3 weeks and sent over to Hong Kong, where hopefully it has a great old life. And I will miss it. But unfortunately, 2020 was 2020, and we need to build our house. And that was the first automotive casualty of war, really. So, yeah.
By the way, people are saying Tiff's not 70 until October.
Oh, bollocks. Have I just aged him?
Only technically by about 6 months. He'll forgive
All right, Tiff's not 70 yet. Do you know what? I'm going to do a feature with Tiffany, so I'm going to have a sleep. He keeps asking me round to his house for a shindig, and of course we can't at the moment because of pandemics. But I'm going to go around. I'm going to darken his door and spend a weekend at Tiff's. I'm going to do a video diary of it.
Okay, one more question.
Yeah.
Max Payne 1369
Yeah.
asked, your mate's Mark 1 Escort, was it blue? Any update?
My mate's Mark 1 Escort. Any update? I don't know if he's talking about the Lord of Ford or if he's talking about the Mark 1 Escort that the lady who we used to live opposite with the 1,000 miles on the clock original. I
think they said blue.
That's the blue one.
Yeah.
That is that one. So it's the 1,000 mile from new Escort. I did a feature on it many, many years ago. In fact, it was 2010. Yeah, might have been 2009. And I am going to do that. I am going to revisit that car. We tried to do it this summer, and we ended up not being able to do it. But that's a very special feature. She's given me permission to drive the car, so I'm going to do that.
Can you just tell people I'll have a mic next time?
Hey?
I'll wear a mic. We'll sort a mic for me next time.
Yeah, she did. Well, you could sit there.
Not this.
But
shit.
there's a
There's a load of crap.
she's sitting nearer to the radiator than to me. Anyway, if you've just joined us, we're going to be going into round 4 shortly.
We've got one more questions though.
Which is my favourite round. Just want to say that.
Couple more questions though.
Couple more questions, yes.
Jason Roberts, is Smith Sniff, we've asked this a lot, going to make an appearance on the Late Break Show?
Yes, to answer your question, Sniff Petrol Rich Porter is going to make more of an appearance on this channel, The Late Break Show. Not loads, but occasionally. We've got a few things planned. And in the meantime, we're focusing on the weekly podcast, which seems to be doing really well in the automotive charts. So I'm very thankful for that. It's good fun. And the other thing is... if we can make it work and find the funds for it, we'll probably do some occasional videos on Smith and Sniff, a bit like the Field of Dreams, or some random road trip involving probably buying a car that's horrible. Maybe. You need an audio interface and a mic, someone's put. I've bloody got a good mic, and I've got an audio interface. I even tested it before this.
Are they talking about me?
I don't know. Mark Johnson, LPG converted Maestro van, 13.2% CO2 instead of 15. Anybody want it? $3,500. What? Okay.
Right, do the quiz now.
Is it bedtime yet? No, it's not, Andy Laws. It's not bedtime yet. Okay. Allegro Sleeper. Is there going to be an update? Yes, there is going to be an update on the Allegro Sleeper. It's coming in. I've got the little schedule down there. In the next 4 weeks. Yeah. Okay, this is round 4, everybody. I'm going to stop my watch. Round 4, and this is called Cars in Film. Cars in Film and TV. Cars in Film. As usual, 4 questions from me, 1 question from Rich Porter. So let's just go. Daniel Osborne, road tripping with Rich Porter in a Dutton. Oh, that'd be so funny. We've got to. Who's waffling in the background? That's my wife, who's trying to help me with certain questions and answers and things. Wow, look at that. Greetings from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Wow. Wow. Renault Zoe and Zeddy Owners Club. Here's £5 towards a new background for you. Spend it wisely. Thank you. These curtains are classic. Classic curtains. They came with the house, didn't they?
And they'll go down.
They'll go down with the house. No, they'll be used to cover an old car in a garage. Round 4, Cars in Film. Question number 1. In fact, I have, I think, an illustration. Here we go. Question 1. The Mr. Bean TV show celebrates 30 years this year. It's 30 years old, can't believe it. Mr. Bean's mostly recognised for this car, the green Mini with the matte black bonnet. But, what colour was the Mini that Mr. Bean first drove and owned in episode number 1 of Mr. Bean? It was a different Mini, different colour. What colour was that Mini in the first ever episode of Mr. Bean? Okay. I can't believe Mr. Bean is 30 years old this year. The programme, not Rowan Atkinson. So there you go. Look at that. I managed to get that picture to appear. Mr. John Citizen, what's your biggest, cutest car? Biggest, cutest car? That's a strange one.
You don't do cute cars.
Okay. Gosh, there's loads of people writing the answers down.
They've been doing that the whole time.
Oh, have they? I've only just noticed. Sorry.
You're meant to be reading the questions.
Okay. So that's question number 1. Question number 2. What was the exact car make and model that did the one-take corkscrew broken bridge jump in James Bond's The Man with the Golden Gun? What was the exact car make and model that did that one take, and it was one take, corkscrew broken bridge jump in 007's The Man with the Golden Gun? That's your question 2. Question number 3. I'm actually going to bring a cheeky little picture up just as a clue, you know? Just as a cheeky little clue. Okay. Ready? 3, 2, 1. What car did the detective Columbo drive? Do you remember the TV show Columbo? Brilliant. Always on repeat. Peter Falk. Dishevelled. What car did the TV detective Columbo drive? I'm going to give you a 5-second look at it. Here you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Columbo. Haven't seen an episode of Columbo for bloody ages. Or Murder, She Wrote. But I don't think Murder, She Wrote drove a car. Don't remember her driving a car.
I think she got drove.
She got driven. She got driven. So that is your question number 3. Question number 4 in round 4, of which this is. And we are going to do a 5th round because I accidentally did one because I can't count. What the hell? Question number 4. This is my favourite one. Which make and model of car is driven by both leading female characters in the films Top Gun and Point Break? So Kelly McGillis and Laurie Petty both drove what in these films? I'll say that again. Which make and model of car is driven by leading female characters in the films Top Gun and Point Break, the original, in 1991? So what does Kelly McGillis in Top Gun and Laurie Petty in Point Break, what do they both drive? All right. People still saying the volume's low. I don't get it. I'm going to put the volume up even more, damn it. Yeah. Okay, so that is question number 4. I'm going to get the Mr. Porter out with his 4th question. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is the question from Rich Porter. Okay. I love there's some real random questions being put up on here.
Hello again, it's Richard, and I'm here with a 4th bonus question. Which supercar company engineered the V10 engine in the Dodge Viper?
I'll play that one more time. What's that? Somebody drove.
If that's the don't say it.
I love that. An Avenger Tiger was the car that was driven in Top Gun and Point Break. I bloody love that. Hang on. Right.
Hello again, it's Richard, and I'm here with a 4th bonus question. Which supercar company engineered the V10 engine in the Dodge Viper?
Okay. Which supercar company engineered the V10 engine in the Dodge Viper? Interesting. I crashed one of those once, and I'm not proud of it. So there you go. I've not driven one since. I need to tame the lion, or whatever it's.
Do you want some more questions?
Yeah, let's do a Q&A, people. I'm going to start my watch. There we go. Let's do 5 minutes or so of Q&A, and then we'll go on to the round number 5, the last round.
Okay. We're not going to pronounce his name right. It's
Struan.
Fredersdorf.
Struan Fredersdorf. I'm wondering whether he's from Scandinavia or possibly the Netherlands.
Yeah. With the inevitable increase in EV adoption, do you think we will get lots of new coach-built car body companies starting, where we can go and tailor our own look and feel and basically custom make your own car?
Okay, I've suggested this a few times. Yes, to answer the question, I do think with the dawning of EVs and a sort of skateboard platform and maybe more of a unified chassis, should we say floor pan, I think that car coach building is going to have a renaissance. I think you're going to see a renaissance in that for two reasons. A, because it allows you to be more creative with such a flat, low propulsion unit, floor pan. Like the old days where you'd order a chassis off Rolls-Royce and then you decide who built the body for you, and they'd sit down and they'd decide how you wanted it. I totally think we're going to have this with cottage industries all around the world with EV, because you can probably go full retro. You could say to somebody, I want a VW ID4 drivetrain and floor pan, but I want to put a classic looking Carmen gear body shell on it. And you could 3D print these things, remember? So the rapid prototyping ability to do this stuff, and not to mention all the composites that we've got available now, is incredible. Really looking forward to it. And I think the prices of EV will come down because it has to. It has to come down. At the moment, converting classic car to EV is great, but it's for the progressive individual that, you know, doesn't probably look at the maths too hard.
Okay. Robert Lee. So, but that Struan was a Patreon.
Struan, thank you for your question. Thank you for being a Patreon.
Robert Lee, another Patreon. What was the worst fifth gear team test you've done? He also really misses Tiff.
Fifth gear team tests. We used to enjoy doing those. What was the worst? There's been a few where I've just been in a bad mood that day, and I've just got angry about the car. Gosh, what was the worst one?
There's been a lot done in really heavy rain.
There has been a lot done in really heavy rain. Yeah. Would you be interested in a genuine barn find bubble car? Arco of Zen. It's either a Heinkel or an Isetta. Yes, I would. Sorry, you're disappearing so quickly. I couldn't quite read it. But yes, I would. Please, can you email us? The website is thelatebreakshow.com. Can you contact us through that if you have a barn find that you know of, a car that needs resurrecting, that I can film being pulled out of hibernation and tell the story, just like the one you might have seen recently with the Volvo. I'd love to do that.
Can you do a big up for Louis? Have you seen him? Louis Spinnetti has donated some money for my leopard print fund.
Oh gosh.
Louis
Spinetti, thank you very much for the donation towards my wife's leopard print fund. I'm expecting to see some serious leopard print.
I already own quite a bit.
You do own, yeah. But I do, going back to the idea of EV coach building, I do think it's going to happen. Imagine a Citroen DS body. Yeah, Ken Wheeler, he's just said this on the messages on the chat. Something like a Citroen DS body over a flat floor EV drivetrain, really efficient. And imagine if that DS body was made out of a composite or even a light aluminium. It'd be stunning. There's a lot of exciting stuff that I think on the horizon, for sure.
Danny Beach, any update with the Impala? Or when can we see an update with the Impala?
Okay, my Chevy Impala project. I've never actually done a proper YouTube video with it. I did an attempt at one just after lockdown 2, I think. But the reality is I wasn't happy with the footage. I thought the car deserved more. It's the never-ending story, that car, and it deserves the story. It needs to be told correctly. In fact, I'm going to go and see it as soon as I'm allowed to. I'll go and see it and show you what it looks like now, what's left on it, bearing in mind it's coming up for nearly 20 years restoration. And I'll explain to you all the kind of problems, the trials and tribulations, and why any normal person would have given up on it, but not me. So that's my Chevy Impala SS project. Very long-winded project, yes.
Jack Priddle has asked, is your max power jump online anywhere?
Yeah, it is. I think my jump that I did many years ago on max power in the Ford Sierra, aka the Dukes of Essex, the General Leon C. It is on YouTube. In fact, I've got some of the bad footage saved on my computer. It's very low res, unfortunately. Early days, pre-YouTube. And I'll put it up for you. I'll put it on social media. We've lost some of the original footage, like the outtakes of it and stuff like that. But I've got some high-res photos of it as well. Got some great photos that day, which is good because I got injured.
Last question, and then you've got to go on to round 5.
Yeah.
Stephen Smith has asked a few times how Queenie is. I've actually just shut her out.
Oh, Queenie. Yeah, Queenie's all right. We have just shut her out. Not outside because it's cold, just in the utility room because she's being a bugger. I think her hearing's going, even though I took her for an MOT only about 6 weeks ago. So, yeah. Craig Davis, the rebirth of the UK kit car industry. Maybe with the whole coach building thing, it's an interesting point. It's a very, very interesting point. What's the best bang for buck car under £5,000? It's got to be something like an Audi A8, a Jag XJR, so supercharged Jag XJ, or even an S-Class Mercedes. Always go for those sorts of cars. I mean, you can get things like Porsche Cayennes. A friend of mine, Walter, got a Cayenne Turbo for under 5k. An absolute rapid beast. I wouldn't own one of those, but that's just me. I tell you what I would own is a V8 Volvo XC90, but that's only because I take the engine out and put it in something else, like a Volvo 240. Thomas Morgan, sat here with my 8-week-old baby Ollie, teaching him the importance of mildly dull car trivia. I don't know what you're talking about, Thomas. Mildly dull? If there wasn't a child on your knee, I'd give you a dry slap. Sports.
Go to the last round, then we'll do more Q&As at the end.
Right, guys. Last round. Let's make it count. Rustling of the papers. Are we ready for round 5? I've called it All in a Name. All in a Name. So 4 questions from me, 1 from Richard Porter. His will be random, not connected with this, but who cares? That's where it is. Question number 1. Can you name a BMW car model that wasn't a number? Can you name a BMW car model that wasn't a number? In other words, not 3 Series or 5 Series, an actual name, like a proper name. Yeah, that's question number 1. Going to pause for a bit. Going to drink some water just to hydrate.
Need some music. Didn't have a pause. Didn't have a toilet pause.
Oh, we should have had a toilet break, people. I'm so sorry.
People want a toilet break.
If anyone wants a toilet break, I can just chill out here for about a minute. So just enough time to run in, quick waz, back out, done. All talk. You've just sent us a donation. I sent you this message as a future payment for you to appear on my awesome car channel with an amazing 662 subscribers. I'm killing it in 2021. Choose from a random selection of rot boxes that I've got. That sounds brilliant. Email me. That's very kind of you. I would love to see what rot boxes you've got. There's always interesting rot. Always. Always. Thank you very much, and thanks for sitting and watching. There's so many. Will Smeg fridge build EV cars in the future? They might do. Yes. They might do. Okay. Someone's put the BMW Brian or the BMW Trevor. Okay. Oh yeah, I was going to say Ian's allotment, plot 52. Yes, you can watch and pee at the same time. If that's your bag and you've got a mobile device, it's your call. I'm leaving it all up to you, you know. Strange things have happened in the last 12 months. So that was question number 1. Question number 2 is a particular favourite of mine. Here we go. It's a true or false kind of round. Which one of these car names is made up? There's only one of these that's made up. The Laurel Log, the Daihatsu Naked, the Beacon Sockwind, the Gaylord Gladiator, or the Mazda Titan Dump. Which one? The Daihatsu Naked, the Beacon Sockwind, the Gaylord Gladiator, or the Mazda Titan Dump? Hello from Sweden. Hi, Kel Killer. How are you? Gosh, I miss going to to the Scandinavia, I have to say. And yes, I will do a road trip in Ireland, Gavin Byrne. I'd absolutely love to. It's what I was going to do. Okay. Someone actually owned a Daihatsu Naked. Well, you've given the game away there then, haven't you, Fergus, for crying in a bucket?
Oh no, I think you've gone. Stop.
Hey?
I think you've gone. People have lost you.
No, it's buffering. It says it's buffering. Yeah.
You might want to ask the last question.
Okay, I'm going to repeat the question number 2 because apparently we were buffering or the streaming was going down or something. Okay.
I think it's
Question number 2 repeated. Which one of these car names is made up? Laurel Log, Daihatsu Naked, Beacon Sockwind, Gaylord Gladiator, or the Mazda Titan Dump? Okay. Question number 3. Question number 3. In fact, oh no, I've got a picture. I'll show you that later. What was the correct original name for the VW Beetle? I will accept the British or the German. So what was the correct original name for the Volkswagen Beetle? I will accept the British or German name for it. Okay? Or the initials. That is question number 3. The last question, and then we do some more Q&A. Question number 4. In 1987, German tuning house Ruff took their 911 CTR to the Nürburgring and set an unofficial lap record of 8 minutes 5 seconds, which lasted for years. It is a video that you really need to see on YouTube. In fact, it was probably the original viral video, if only for the driver's grey slip-ons and white socks. But what was this infamous 911 CTR better known as? So I'll repeat that. In 1987, German tuning house Ruff took their 911 CTR to the Nürburgring and set an unofficial lap record of 8 minutes 5 seconds, which lasted for years. And it's the original viral video really for cars, and it's one that you need to see on YouTube, if only for the driver's grey slip-ons and white socks. But what was this infamous 911 CTR better known as? Okay. I'm loving all of the comments.
Instead of us going to do answers, and we are.
We are going to do answers. If you want to stay around, of course we're going to do answers. I wouldn't leave you hanging. Not that it's like a major cliffhanger. That's my 4 questions, and I've got a last question from my friend Richard Porter, and it goes something like this.
Hello, it's Richard here again with your 5th and final bonus question, and it's this. The lower bodywork of which Japanese sports car was said to have been inspired by the shape of a lady sprinter's thighs?
I'm going to play that one again.
Hello, it's Richard here again with your 5th and final bonus question, and it's this. The lower bodywork of which Japanese sports car was said to have been inspired by the shape of a lady sprinter's thighs?
What car was that? You'll find out in a minute in the answers. So that concludes 5 rounds of 5 questions. I've got, you know what? I've got that bonus one that I thought would be quite fun.
Answer some more questions.
All right, okay. Let's do some Q&A, people, and then we'll do the answers. We'll rattle through the answers because then we can do some more chat / drinking.
Okay. Gang asked, what do you think of the new Mercedes W124?
Gang asked what I thought of the new Mercedes W124. There isn't a new Mercedes W124, is there? Oh. Unless I've missed various memos. And we've had Mercedes 124s. We've had 3 of them. Have I had 3? Yeah, we've had a lot of 124s. Me and my brother. I've had one Saloon 300D that we ran on veg oil. I had a 250D, which was turbo aftermarket conversion, and that was the original vegetable oil car from 5th Gear. And then I had 2 estates. One of them was the best. Do you remember it? The grey one. 7-seater, 320 TE, Sportline suspension. I'm telling you now, the Sportline suspension was a revelation. It made the car drive so much better. So much better. Next question.
CB asked, best bang for your buck car for under 5k.
Oh, I've answered that one.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I answered that one.
This could be a little bit controversial.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm back. BW asked, what is your favourite car magazine?
What's my favourite car magazine? I mean, I do feel an affinity to the ones I have worked on in the past. Car magazine, was always very proud of working on that. And Evo's been very good in over the years. Top Gear, I've got some good friends that work on Top Gear magazine, and I think they're doing a really strong job as well. It's difficult, to create a good magazine.
American.
Yeah, I've always subscribed to Classic American magazine. It's niche, but I love it because I like a lot of old American tin, so that's really good. And what other mags? Well, I mean, Volkswagen was a mag that I did my work experience on when I was 16, and it holds really strong memories for me. It's one of the mags that made me want to become a motoring journalist, basically. I think we cut out earlier, about 10 minutes ago, so I'm sorry if it was a bit stuttery. We got snow here, and I've told the kids to turn all the devices off. Everybody turns everything off.
Andrew Waite, a Patreon.
Yeah, hi Andrew Waite, Patreon.
He wants to buy something old and interesting, but he doesn't dare. So what's a kind of good for? He's obviously feeling a little bit.
Wants to buy something interesting and old.
What would you say to someone that would like to buy something old and interesting but doesn't dare to? So.
Okay, what I would say to you is, what's your definition of old? Because these days, young people think that mid-90s is old. Mid-90s car is 25 years old, so it's sort of classic, but it's not ancient. And there's a lot of cars out there which probably haven't rusted that are classed as classics. So I would go for something that you're really interested in and passionate about, whether that's aesthetics or whether that's mechanics. And then I would do your research on if there's a specific model which either is more reliable or more desirable, and I would go at it. Or if you're worried, just buy something cheap to start with. There's a lot of cheap
I think that's what he's
older
saying.
cars.
He's a bit worried. So what would be a kind of safe old car, old and interesting car to buy?
Safe and old. Well, I mean, there's a lot of 80s and early 90s Japanese stuff kicking about, which is pretty reliable. I'd quite like to go for something that people haven't quite considered as classic yet. Like, I don't know, ex-police Voxel Omega, 6-speed, 3.2. That'd be quite cool. Or I don't know, Alfa Romeo 156. Although you might bite off more than you can chew with that as a first classic. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
I've got a couple of other Patreon questions.
I think the kids are upstairs on Netflix using the CarPervert bandwidth. Owen Kelly. No, they're not. We've told them to put old school DVD.
Yeah.
We've said put a DVD on. Nobody's on their phones. Nobody's on their devices. Did you turn their phone off?
I didn't know.
Damn it.
Fine though. Andy Simpson, Patreon. I think I got asked this last time. What motoring great who is no longer with us would you love to do an idle chat with?
Oh, what? Sorry.
What motoring great? Were you just not even listening to me?
No, I was reading all of the comments because they're just flooding in. It's quite overwhelming.
What motoring great who is no longer with us would you wish to have done an idle chat with? And that's from Andy Simpson, who is at Patreon.
Which motoring great? As in driver or?
Just as motoring great.
Well, I never got to. I met him to say hello to, but I never got to properly interview Sir Sterling Moss. And the main thing I would have liked to have done is gone to his house, because I know a few motoring journalists have gone to a 60s futuristic house, which is supposed to be like a time capsule from tomorrow's world. I'm guessing it's still around because his wife is still in it. With the infamous lift, which nearly killed him but didn't. I'd love to do that. The other person I would have loved to have met was his name, Peter Brock, who's actually a film director, British film director, who directed the film Bullet, and I guess kind of is responsible for coining the original car chase with that film. Because we all know that the Bullet, the film, it's got a fairly average storyline. It's all about the 9-minute car chase. So, yeah, I would like to have met him and kind of dissected his mind on how he put together that sequence and who decided that it should be so long. and how they went about executing it on the streets of San Francisco with 12 hubcaps and the same Beetle in the background on every corner. But yeah, so I'd like to do that, and there's a lot of them. There's a lot of late people. I would have loved to have interviewed the British World War II soldier who took over the German factory, the original Volkswagen factory when the war ended. Ivan Hurst, Major Ivan Hurst from the Royal Engineers.
Right, do you want to do answers?
Let's do some answers, people. Da 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 da. Rustling of papers. Da 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 da. Rustling of papers. Da 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 da. Right, round number 1. This is answers. We'll go a bit quicker through this, rest assured. But thanks to everybody who's watching and has tuned in for this live. Much appreciated. Hope you're having fun. Living life to the max on a Sunday evening. Round 1, old car trivia. Question 1, celebrating its 50th anniversary this year, what's the name of the British car whose code name was ADO28? It's the Morris Marina. Yeah, everyone's least favourite classic car. The Morris Marina is 50 this year, amazingly. So ADO28 was its code name, apparently. Question number 2, what was the Austin Allegro called when it was sold to the Italian market? It was called the Innocenti Regent. Yeah. And there's one guy in the UK that has one. And there's like none in Italy. I think in 3 years we've seen 2 for sale. They are so rare because the Italians didn't want them because they thought they were shit. So yeah, the Austin Allegro in the Italian market was called the Innocenti Regent. Question 3. The Fiat Stilo Schumacher edition. Apparently they only made 200 of them to celebrate a certain number of consecutive F1 driver championships for Michael Schumacher. But how many championships had he won at that point? Well, it was to commemorate 5 championship wins. I think he went on to win 7, but that car came out around 2005, 2004. 5 consecutive F1 drivers championships. Question 4, the answer is, the question is, which Lamborghini used Morris Marina door handles? I love this. It's the Lamborghini Urraco, which I think for a long time was Lamborghini's cheapest car second-hand. I think it looks pretty cool, actually. I think Top Gear, old Top Gear, they might have bought one for less than 10 grand and nail around in one. So those are the 4 questions. The 5th question from Rich Porter. And I will play you the question because it's about a Mazda.
Hello Johnny, hello everyone, Richard Porter here with your first bonus question, and it's this. Which model of Mazda is the only Mazda to have been made in the UK?
It's the 121, which I think
Most people got.
I think was the one that was blatantly a Ford Fiesta with just some bad plastic attached to it. I remember it just being so lame, you just wouldn't have bought it unless you did buy it. And if you did buy one, get in touch and tell me why.
Does anybody need a loo break?
If anyone needs a toilet break, go now. Round 2 answers. We'll go nice and slow. I'll shout louder so that if the toilet's further away, you can get to it. This is round 2, which was new car trivia. Which large car maker controversially rebranded their slogan and logo in January this year with what I think is a very confusing logo? It was, or is, Kia. Kia have turned their logo from a simple oval with clear writing on it that says Kia into something which just looks like, I don't know, Kia. It doesn't say Kia. I can't work it out, and it will have cost them millions. And they've changed their slogan from the power to surprise to movement that inspires. Yeah, nice. Movement that inspires. Question number 3. Which is longer? It depends on spec for this one, so forgive me if you think I've got it wrong. Which is longer, the current Ford Fiesta, the Vauxhall Corsa, or the Volkswagen Polo? Well, apparently, one spec of Fiesta is 4,068 millimetres long, which makes it 1 millimetre longer than a Polo. and the Corsa is 4,060 millimeters long. So it's the Fiesta, apparently. It's ever so slightly longer than a Polo, and definitely longer than a Corsa. That's your answer. Interesting, right? This was a shocker. How many XJs did Jaguar sell globally in 2020? This is question 3. 1,500 cars globally. They only sold 1,500 Jag XJs globally in 2020. Wow. That's not a lot of cars. That's not enough. The XJ is a really good car, but it is quite old now. It's been taken out of production, so that would explain that, I would have thought. If you've ever driven one, you'll know they're pretty good. Question 4. The answer to: name more than one SsangYong on sale in the UK right now. Name more than one SsangYong, can you? You're talking Rexton, you're talking Carandu, you're talking Tivoli, you're talking Tivoli XLV, you're talking Turismo. Those are the current lineup of SsangYongs in Britain. And I wouldn't have been able to have named 2, I don't think. I would have definitely got 1. Would have got the Rexton, might have got the Tiv. So Rexton, Carandu, Tivoli, or Tivoli XLV, and Turismo. Well done if you got those. That is round 2, and I will do Rich Porter's second question.
Hello, it's Richard again.
Oh, Richard, what have you done, you bugger? Come on.
Hello, it's Richard again with another bonus question, and it's this. The late Sergio Marchionne, the boss of FCA, once described one of his own cars as being unfit for human consumption. But which car was he talking about?
He was talking about the Jeep Commander. The Jeep Commander was unfit for human consumption, apparently. Let's go to round 3 answers. Car badges. So, Audi's 4-ring logo represented 4 German brands joining forces in 1932 to create Auto Union. Can you name all 4? One of them is Audi. One of them is Horsch or Hoch. One of them is Wanderer or Wanderer. And one of them is DKW. So DKW, Hoch or Horsch, Wanderer and Audi. That made up the 4 rings of the Audi logo, or the Auto Union logo, as was. Question number 2, the answer to this. German luxury BMW Vettelers Alpina have a blue and a red shield logo, but which 2 car parts feature on said shield? Well, there's a carburettor with velocity stacks on the left, and on the right there's a crankshaft, and it's a great logo. Love it. So there we go. A carburettor, a big one, and a crankshaft. That's your answer to question number 2. Question number 3, which old British car company had that logo? It's Gordon Keeble, a car company that not many people know about, and they're actually worth a lot of money because they didn't make many of them. They were quite powerful and cool, but I don't know why a tortoise or a turtle with a wreath around it was their logo, but it was Gordon Keeble. Question number 4, who owns the Triumph Motor Cars brand name to this day? BMW. BMW own the Triumph brand name, and there's been rumours for years that they're going to bring a sub-brand out of roadsters, of sports cars under the Triumph name. Will they? Who knows? Be great if they did, though. I have to say, because Z4s have never been particularly sexy, have they? So that is round 3. Round number 4, the answers coming up. And then we'll do a few more Q&As and all that jazz. Cars in film and TV. The Mr. Bean TV show celebrates its 30th year. Gosh, this year. There he is. He's mostly recognised for this car, the green Mini with a matte black bonnet. But what colour was the Mini that he first owned and drove in episode number 1? Well, it was an orange Mini, and it was a 1970 Mini. So the first episode featured an orange Mini. All the others featured one of these, a green, sort of citrusy green Mini with a matte black bonnet. And in fact, they used 6 of these Minis in total. 6 of those. There wasn't one Mini as such. So that's the question number 1. Question number 2. What was the...
Richard's one, by the way.
Yeah. What was the exact car make and model?
You missed it. You missed the answer to his one.
What, in the previous round?
Yeah, someone else has just said that.
No,
I've not done it. Round 3, Richard's one.
I did do it. Didn't I?
No.
Oh, bugger. Sorry. I thought I could have sworn I did.
No.
All right, okay. Sorry.
Hello, it's Richard again with another bonus question.
Sorry.
Which car company's only showroom was at 368 to 370 Kensington High Street, London?
So, which...
Hello, it's Richard again with another bonus question. Which car company's only showroom was at 368 to 370 Kensington High Street, London?
The answer is Bristol. The now defunct Bristol Car Company only had one dealership in the whole of the country, and it was in Kensington, London. Sorry about that. That was the bonus question for round 3. Bugger, I knew I'd muck it up. Let's go back to round 4. Question number 2. What was the exact car make and model that did that one-take corkscrew broken bridge jump in the James Bond film Man with the Golden Gun? It was a 1974 AMC Hornet X. Yeah, and it was driven at exactly 40 miles an hour by a stuntman called Lauren Bumps Willard, and it was modified. I didn't know this. Externally, it looked totally standard. Internally, stripped, cage, and the driving seat was right in the middle of the car with all the pedals turned to face the centre of the car. It sold in 2017 from a private collector. I think it cost about 250 grand. There we go. So Bristol, that was Richard's answer, and the next answer is question 3 in Cars and Film and TV. What car is this that Columbo drove? What did the TV detective Columbo drive? It was a Peugeot 403 convertible of 1959, apparently, and only 2,030 of them were made over a 5-year period. So they weren't massively popular, and they were really slow, which is presumably why he was often late to his appointments. There you go. Columbo drove a Peugeot 403. And apparently the actor Peter Falk chose it. He just saw it. He just saw it one day in like a Universal Studios parking like back lot, and he went, "I want that." And it was broken. They had to mend it.
Who does he have it now?
Peter Falk?
Yeah.
Well, he's dead, I think. I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Actually, he would be really old.
He'd be really old. Thanks for that, though. Question number 4. I like this one. Which make and model of car is driven by both leading female characters in the film Top Gun and Point Break? So what did Kelly McGillis in Top Gun drive, and what did Laurie Petty drive in the original Point Break? The remake I'm not going to talk about. It doesn't exist in my head. It's a Porsche 356 Speedster. Yeah. They both drove Porsche 356 Speedsters. Black one, I think, in Top Gun, and a red one in Point Break. Although, if you're going to be really nerdy about it, apparently the one in Point Break was a replica made by Intermechanica. There's a lot of replicas about. But there we go. Both great films. Big fan of Point Break.
Somebody said that they named their child Tyler after Point Break.
Point Break's a cool film. Well, we've got a friend who named a dog Bodie probably after
Who was Tyler in Point Break though?
the girl, Laurie Petty.
Oh, is it?
She
said they named their son Tyler. That might be wrong.
Well, Tyler's a unisex name, isn't it? Like Taylor. Taylor and Tyler.
Is that her name, Tyler?
It's a character name, yeah.
One.
Anyway, next round, round number 5. This is the answers to the final round. Right. Barbed wire pattern on the curtain is interesting.
It does look a bit.
It does look like barbed wire, but it's not actually. It's just sort of threads.
Really weird stitching.
Yeah, didn't you see that? It's blowing a bloody gale outside.
It could be wood. It could be a wood effect.
It could be, yeah. Yeah, Bolfs.com. I'd like an EV356 as well. Right. Oh, yeah, also there was a Porsche 356 in Bullet, but it was a hardtop, not a speedster. Right, round 5. Questions, all in a name. Can you name a BMW car model that wasn't a number? Yes, it's the BMW Isetta bubble car. Now, there might have been another BMW that wasn't a number, but I couldn't find one. And the Isetta was a bubble car that arguably saved BMW from the brink of disaster. But I've got another fact. Apparently it was the world's first car to do 3 litres of fuel over 100 kilometres, which is the equivalent of 94 miles to the gallon. That was a world first for that level of efficiency. Who can say?
You've missed Richard's answer again, by the way.
Oh, bollocks, have I? Shit, I have.
We'll finish this now and then do 2 of Richard's.
No, everyone's heckling me. I'm going to do it. Hang on, sorry.
I got distracted by the curtain.
I got distracted by curtains and I got distracted by Point Break Lady. Hang on. Okay, so this is his... Is this Richard's?
4th. Is it round 4?
Yeah, 4. Yeah, I know. Here we go.
Hello again, it's Richard, and I'm here with a 4th bonus question. Which supercar company engineered the V10 engine in the Dodge Viper?
Okay, so which supercar company engineered the V10 engine for the Dodge Viper? The answer was Lamborghini. Lamborghini made the V10. And I didn't know that. So well done, Rich. He's always good with his info. Brilliant. Let's crack on with second question for round 5. First question was the BMW Isetta is a BMW that hasn't got a number. It's got a real name. Question number 2. Which of these car names is made up? The L'Oreal Log, the Daihatsu Naked, the Beacon Sockwind, the Gaylord Gladiator, or the Mazda Titan Dump? The answer is they are all real apart from the Beacon Sockwind, because I made that up. And I'm wondering how many people got caught out, because I didn't think the Gaylord Gladiator was a real car, but it was. It wasn't a very popular car, but it was actually quite a cool looking car from what I could see. It's an American, very luxurious thing. Question number 3. I've got an illustration for this one. What was the correct original name for the VW Beetle? I will accept the British or the German, or the initials. There we go. That is the KDF Wagen, also known as the Kraft durch Freude Wagen, which is known as the Strength Through Joy car. There you go. Nice bit of sort of Nazi era advertising there. But yeah, the KDF Wagen was the original name before it was called the Volkswagen Beetle. It was never really called the Beetle, it was called the Type 1, but anyway. So yeah, there we go. That was the answer to question number 3. Question number 4, the final one from me, but I won't forget Richard's, promise. In 1987, German tuning house Ruff took their 911 CTR to the ring, set an official green hell lap record of 8 minutes 5 seconds, which lasted for years and years. It's a fantastic video that you do have to watch on YouTube. The driving is just insane, and also the drivers slip-on shoes with white socks. But anyway, what was the name of this car better known as? It was better known as the Yellowbird. The Yellowbird is probably one of them. And there's some amazing facts about the Yellowbird if you ever want to get lost in it. The Ruff CTR Yellowbird, 3.4 twin turbo injected engine, used injection from a 962 race car. It could do 213 miles an hour in 1987. And it was quicker to 100 miles an hour than a Porsche 959 or a Ferrari F40. Bearing in mind it wasn't quicker to 0 to 60 than either of those, but it was quicker to 100. What a savage car. And that concludes all of my questions, so we've just got one left. The last one from Richard.
Hello, it's Richard here again with your 5th and final bonus question, and it's this. The lower bodywork of which Japanese sports car was said to have been inspired by the shape of a lady sprinter's thighs?
So which Japanese...
Hello, it's Richard here again with your 5th and final bonus question, and it's this. The lower bodywork of which Japanese sports car was said to have been inspired by the shape of a lady sprinter's thighs?
The answer is the Toyota MR2 Mark II. I never knew that. Interesting fact. It's my favourite MR2, but not necessarily because of a female sprinter's thighs.
Specific lady?
I don't know that. I don't know if it's a specific woman. We'll see. Someone's written about 10 times, Tane 500. Don't forget Richard's 5th bonus question. I didn't forget this time. It only took me 5 goes. Do you know what? Because you've all been so good, I'm going to finish with two silly questions. One was, what does Audi's e-tron electric vehicle directly translate to in French? And the second question is, which is the shittest looking brand new BMW? So,
Well, that's a subjective question.
yeah. What does Audi's e-tron directly translate to in French? Turd is the answer. I've asked several French people, so it's a fact. And what is the crappiest looking new BMW? Well, you know what? It's hotly contested, sadly. I might go with X7, but I'll leave the answer up to you. All that's left to say is thank you so much for joining me on this live not pub quiz, car chat, car quiz thing.
Do you want to answer any more questions?
I am going to answer some more questions, and I've really enjoyed it. So, and I hope you've had a good time. Thanks to everybody who's been scrolling through and chatting. If you're watching this on the rerun, non-live, thanks. These are my real curtains in my kitchen. We are going to demolish our house soon. I am going to document the demolition of the house and the building of the dream garage if I can afford it. Let's do some Q&As. I'm going to start the stopwatch.
Couple of Patreon questions. Martin Thorne has asked, how do EVs work when people don't have a drive? So they're ideal candidates for an EV, but we can't park it in front of our house. In fairness, that is a tricky.
I think if you are looking to buy an EV and you can't park outside your house, or you don't have a drive, off-street parking to charge, you are on the back foot. It's not so important if you are doing a short commute. So let's say you live in London and you commute, 3 or 4 miles each way. You can probably get away with charging every 3 or 4 days using a rapid charge point, or a supermarket, charge point when you're doing something like that. But what I would say is that having a charger at home, and ours is right behind this curtain actually, our pod point, it's really important to try and have home charging facilities, because your home is your fuel station. In the same way that you put this on charge when you go to bed, that's the way that EVs is the best way. Rapid charging obviously helps if you do lots of long journeys and you're on the run a lot, but definitely at home.
The other question.
What's that? Mark B. Johnny, we're restoring a Super B. How many are in the... You've got a Super B, Mark. It's one of my favourite Mopar cars. I need to know what year it is. If it's a 69 or a 70. Ooh. I do like the binocular-eyed ones. Yeah, Neil Osborne. Our daughter managed a Zoe in London charging every week at Sainsbury's. Yeah, exactly. So I know a lot of people that live in London that have EVs, but they mostly drive within London area. So they don't do many miles on an average week. So if your EV does 150-mile range,
While you're shopping.
you charge it when you go and do a shop, or you go, I don't know, your kids are playing a sport, or you're let's say you go to the gym, something like that, where you're away for an hour and you can give it a good rapid charge. That's when you want to do it.
Niels G asked, he says, kudos for owning a Honda Insight Gen 1. What are your thoughts on the second generation Honda Insight?
Disappointing. I did the launch of the second gen Insight. I loved my first gen Insight. I may have it back at some point. And I really, really, really think that Honda dropped the ball with the second Insight, because they copied the Prius, because the Prius got the the second generation Insight wasn't unique. It was a copycat car. It had a CVT gearbox only, which was appalling. It looked the same as the Prius, so it lost any of its individuality, all in the name of having more seats. Whereas the first Insight came before the original Prius. It's a better car than the Prius, albeit two-seater. It's a driver's car, and it's an enthusiast car, whereas the Prius isn't really. Although the Prius has helped to mobilise lots of people and, create a pretty effortless 90-mile-to-the-gallon car.
I can't remember who, because it's gone, but somebody asked, is the house going to be a bungalow? Is it going to be 2-storey? Or
Our house that we're going to knock down, this house, which is a bungalow at the moment, is going to be rebuilt as a house. It's not going to be a bungalow.
Well, it sort of is.
Well, let's just say half of it might be on stilts, because then you can get some cars underneath. There's going to be some quirks about it. But yeah, extreme reaction to the curtains. No, demolish the house. Someone's offered to buy these curtains, babe, for a £5. Should we sell them?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to scroll up through the messages. Whoever's just offered to buy our curtains for a £5, you can have them.
People are asking when you're next live.
Well, I will do another live when you want me to.
This has been 6 weeks.
I think it's been. I'll probably.
6 weeks tomorrow.
Should we do it every 4 weeks or 6 weeks?
I think 6 probably.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. So thank you ever so much to everybody who's joined me for this. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. Someone's written Magnum PDI. Yeah, that guy's crazy. He's a private car preparer. Yeah, sorry, there's still loads of messages.
I know.
And it's great. I enjoy it.
I've given up. I'm not even.
Do you know? I hope the questions weren't too taxing. And so at this point, I'm going to stop my watch. I'm going to pick up my wine. I'm going to toast everybody. I hope you're all safe. I hope you're all staying relatively sane. Hope you manage to keep on keeping on. Tinkering in the garage. There's a couple more videos coming out imminently of other people's project cars, and my videos will go back to normal very soon.
And to let people know that we're Project of the People 2 is out tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Yeah, there'll be a new video out tomorrow, but if you're not watching this live, that might not make any sense. All that's left to say is thanks for watching the Late Break Show. If you're a subscriber, thanks for subscribing. If you're a Patreon, thank you ever so much. And if you've donated tonight in this chat column, wonderful. It's really kind of you. I'll say thanks again to Evie, Nick, who helped me with getting this thing to transmit. I love him because I couldn't do it without him, because he's technologically terrible at this sort of thing. So thank you, and good night or good morning or good afternoon. All right, take care. And my wife Chop says thanks to everybody too.